There are several types of graph components. This graph component is a web element, represents the web element. We can see that we can read the description of this web element, how to use it, what it can do, when to use it, who should use it. By clicking on it, we can see its content. Clicking back brings us back to the main menu. Embed shows us code, how to use it, how to embed it in a different web component, or how to embed it in an HTML. It's not complete yet, it will be finished soon. Forum enables us to ask questions regarding this web component and get answers. The questions and answers will appear on the wall of all the users that show interest in this web component, and especially it will appear on the wall of the owner of this web component. This web component has relations. The relations that we can see is the simplest is the owner. You can see that the owner is the only one that got a relation. Relation is represented by this line. The owner is represented by the line that is directed to. There's the small error here, this one. The owner of this, the creator of this web component, is the only one that has an incoming line to this web component. This web component also, we can see it's using the following web components. Paper button, for example, we can see by this relation, and here a transition. Also, we can see that a preview of this web component, those actions enables us to interact with the web component itself. So this button will open the preview. You can see the previews of this web component. This is a preview. Open it in the designer in order to edit it and to modify it. We can, for example, customize the web component from the designer. We want, for example, to change the style, the background color of this web component. So we can just simply change it to blue, and now it's bluish. We can see the code in an edit mode. Edit mode enables us to see the code. And the wizards help us to get started. And the designer helps us to get started. But if we want complex code, then the designer is not the place to do this. This is the place where you do it. You look at the code and you add any JavaScript or any functionality to this web component. In here we can see the metadata. Metadata is used, it's a set of instructions that are used in order to tell the designer how to use this web component. For example, each web component needs to import itself into the designer or into the HTML. This is the import link that you need to add in order to be able to tell the browser that where this web component's code is and to load this web component is. And this is the tag that actually needs to be embedded in the HTML in order to be able to see this web component. Those parameters are the parameters that the wizard will use to enable the user to customize them. So in the wizard, the user will see those properties, and he will be able in the wizard, in the designer, to edit it. Next web component that we can see is the user. This is, for example, a user. If I click on it, then it will focus and it will bring more relations, all the relations that are associated with this web component. This user web component represent a user in the system. There's plenty of users in the system. We can see the username, and the type of user and its avatar, and we can also click on this button and to ask question the user, interact with the user itself. For example, good morning, and going back. We can see in the system some other types of web components, for example, the social help. Once we create a social help, then we get generated this, the system will generate this graph element. This graph element creates a description. The description will appear when a user wants to suggest a solution. Then he's got an overlay window that tells that gives him information about this suggestion. The description will appear in this overlay. You can say, for example, that I would like to give $100,000 for every for the best solution that was offered. This is the place. Forum is to interact with this social help, and also we can see here the embed. Embed shows us code how to embed, for example, a suggestion candidate. Candidate is a code that we need to embed in our solution in order to be able to enable other users to offer suggestion. We're gonna see it in more details in the section of this social help. This is a sample. Suggest, clone, view suggestion. There's some other code here. This is all the different suggestions that were offered for this social help. So we can see that this suggestion was offered, but it's in approval state. It's not yet been rendered. And we can see, for example, this suggestion is an approved suggestion that the user can track the grade of the suggestion, and you can see daily report of how was the grade of his suggestion. We can also see elements that represent resources. For example, this is a resource of an image, resource upload of an image, so we can see this big image element, graph elements with this image